What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for logging in. Whatever the case may be, thank you for joining us here today on Out the Cage. I am your man's in them, Frederick Cage. Now, hold up. I know before you, to all of our potential sponsors, to all of our potential guests, yes, and our platforms, yes, we are based out of Las Vegas, Nevada. And it's a wonderful opportunity for you to be on the show. You can come to Vegas. You can have you a vacation. And if our sponsors do what you're supposed to do, we're going to cover your vacation. We'll say that. So anyway, you can come to vacation. You can come to Las Vegas, have a vacation, be on the show. But today, I wanted you to see that out the cage, we can be mobile. As my man Stephen A. Smith says, we're fluid. We're fluid. So I wanted you to know that we're in Memphis, Tennessee today. Now, let me tell you this. This is the place, as Eric B. and Rakim say, you thought I was a donut. You tried to glaze me. This is the place that glazed me. As my man Darius said in Love Jones, she put it on me. That's Santa Maria. This is the place that put it on me. I'm in my place that I was born and raised. Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis, make some noise in here. As my man Ice Cube said in Friday, they're right. Now, I want you to know we are downtown Memphis, so you may hear a trolley going by. You may hear because we're doing it real and we're doing it live. So we're here in Memphis, Tennessee, and I specifically wanted to come to Memphis to shoot this particular show, and I wanted to talk about this particular subject in Memphis. And today, we're talking about mentorship. And here's the backdrop to mentorship. The OGs to the new Gs. Because I've gotten to a certain age, and I got some people in here, we got to a certain age where we considered the OGs. All the OGs in the house, where you at? Where the OGs? I see a couple, that's what I'm talking about, a couple OGs. Now, let me say this. For those of you that may not be from the African-American community, OG is a term of endearment. It means you've gotten to a certain place in life where we respect you. So we're talking about the OGs to the new Gs. And we got some special guests in the house today, some people that I'm very happy that they're here. And I just want to say, first of all, I'm going to do ladies first. All right, brothers?
That's good. That's fine.
All right, we're going to do ladies first. So first, we have a very special young lady, and she's very clammed up. So we're going to pray for her. But we got Miss Anika Azale in the house. Now, let me say, Anika, how long? How long has it been?
I want to say probably 16 years.
Almost 20 years?
Yep.
And Anika, I want to say she does something that's very special. She calls me dad and calls my wife mom. And I wanted to make sure. So Anika right now is the mentor coordinator, administrator for Memphis PAL mentoring program. And I am so happy that she's here. Next young man, we've known each other over 30 years, bro.
30 plus years, that's
30
right.
plus years. And let me say this openly. Even when we were in junior high school and high school, you meet those people that they still know about the community. And even then, Antonio Harvey was about the community. And right now, let me say he's a former teacher. He's a former principal. And right now, he serves as the community manager for school engagement support for the Memphis Shelby County school system.
Yes, sir.
He's also the founder of Fathers Helping Fathers. Mm-hmm. And finally, there's a young man, I don't have to, truthfully, let me say this openly. Jeff is really the reason why we're having this show. And I'm going to tell you guys why. So I've been in Jeff's life, going on past 10 years now. I'm going on. And so what happened, let me say just who Jeff is. He's a recent graduate of the University of Memphis. I'm happy for that. And he's also, he started his own trucking and logistics company, and in his second year, he's already done a little less than $1 million. So I'm proud of him with that. But this is what happened, man. So we were talking one day, and Jeff said something that blew me. Blew me away. He said, I was telling somebody, I want to introduce you to my mentor. And when he said mentor, I really had to, because in my mindset, I never saw it as me mentoring him. I just saw it as this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to give back. I'm supposed to take the young man that's under me and show him and guide him and lead him. And really, he was the purpose and the reason for having this show. So y'all give our guests some love right now. Give us love. You know what? And I don't want to be that dude because I told everybody to put their phone on silent. Mine's on silent. and somebody else's wasn't. So we're gonna keep it popping. So I'm gonna embarrass you, but I want you to know. So Jeff, we were talking about mentorship, and Jeff, I told Jeff that I wanted him to open this up a little bit. Young man being in his 20s in Memphis, Tennessee, and Jeff is. And let me say to us, when you get to a certain age, for me, I have found it very important to connect with younger people to keep your ears to the street because it keeps you knowing what's happening. See, the problem, in my opinion, for a lot of us, we get older and we just forget the young generation. We don't care to talk to them. We stay in our houses. We keep away from them. And so with Jeff, he keeps me to the street. And Jeff, as a 20-something-year-old young man in Memphis, and you and I have had conversations, tell us what's really going on.
A lot. A lot. Moving around in Memphis, I would say being younger, but even older generations, ain't nobody safe out here. You got to move smooth, got to be careful, watch your surroundings. Always be attentive to what's going on around you. It's nothing nice out here.
Tell them a story about the AR-15.
All right, so as my OG here is a mentor to me, I began to mentor my younger cousin, who is here today, who will be one day a phenomenal businessman. He's already is. So my younger cousin, he buys and sells cars. He's 17. And so I took the initiative to go into business with him. And just so I could keep him close to me because I know how it is out here in the city of Memphis. So one day we're going to look at a vehicle in East Memphis off Hickory Hill. And so we get to the apartment, and I'm already kind of sketchy. I see what's going on. So my younger cousin, he gets out the car. He goes around the corner. I couldn't see him anymore. So, of course, we come together, we leave together. I couldn't see him no more, so then I have to get out the car and see him. So I go around the corner. Once I see him, I get a little closer, but once I hit the corner, they're in the garage. So my younger cousin, he's looking at the car, everything's fine, but when I hit the corner, it's a gentleman that we're trying to buy the car from. He has an AR-15 right there in his hand. Prepare for anything.
AR-15.
AR-15 loaded, ready to go.
For those that don't know what describe what an AR-15 is. Like a machine gun, basically.
Basically.
A machine gun.
Military rifle.
It's a military rifle. If it go off, you got to get low. And get low and pray.
Get low and pray.
Yeah.
Oh, Antonio.
Yes, sir.
Oh, as a former teacher, as a former principal, as somebody now that works in the school system, you see stuff that a lot of us don't see.
We see it daily.
Daily?
Daily. And
Tell us the importance of being what we need to do when it concerns our community, and talk to us.
so over the years, I've been a teacher, like I said, for 15 years. I was a principal for 7 years. And what I started really noticing was that a lot of the students and a lot of the young, especially a lot of the young men who have difficulties, didn't have that modeling piece. And so what I realized was that you can't be what you don't see. And so with that being said, it's really to the importance of our community that we really begin that process of identifying individuals who can get in front of these young people. And I've had a lot of discussions lately, and really I began to reflect over what's going on in our lives. And so when you think about our culture now and how social media has really taken over and permeated our culture, and how it's really navigating the children's thinking process, and you think about the music now. And so today I was just sitting at the table, and we were thinking about reflecting how the music that we grew up on was like the OJs, Earth, Wind, and Fire, and you think about those things that they were talking about. But now you think about who's out now talking to the children. You have people like Little Uzi Vert, people like Sexy Red, and they talking the things that they're talking, and now it's getting into the soul of our children. And so it's going to be for us as adults, as grown individuals, to come in and sit side by side with these young people and find out what they need and what's going on in their lives, and then try to reach them and support them. And be a modeling piece that they can look at and say, hey, I want to be that guy or be that young lady, and that's important. So I really, in the work that I'm doing now with the children, I try to go back down, and I'm starting with the younger children now because they're like sponges. They really want to hear what's going on and really want to hear how do I better myself. And so, just telling them the things that I've learned over my life, growing up in Memphis, growing up in North Memphis, and just progressing and just trying to support. So it's a lot going on, but it's a lot of work that can be done, but the workers are few.
And before I shift to, I want to say this, man, because I want to set the stage. For those of you that are watching, and even for those in the audience, this is not a game. This is not a joke. It's a joke when you're not involved, but it's not a joke. So I serve as a counselor in Vegas. It's not a joke when you get the phone call where you got to go do last rites on somebody's child that just got shot, and you seeing it on a daily basis. And I'm coming to Anika, and let me say this, as a guy who's been a pastor, what bothered me, and I'm going to say this, and that's why I'm doing the podcast, because I can touch stuff that I couldn't really say from the pulpit. What bothers me, so even when it concerns Jeff was a member of the church I pastored, and I'm going to say this, it bothered me that I would go to the brothers and be like, hey, man, go grab a young man. Now, they ain't had time to do that. But when I said, well, it's your turn to preach, they was ready to go.
They jumped on that.
They jumped. So we got to be careful that we want the stage, we want the lights, we want the camera, but we don't want to put in the work. We don't want to put in the work. And I want to say this, as African Americans, we got to get past blaming everybody else for our community. Yes, there's systemic racism in America. We know that. Yes, there's issues in it. Yes, we know that. But there has to come a point where you say, you know what? I can't change the world, but I can grab me one or two. I can grab me. And I'm coming to you, love. I want to say this, Jeff. Tell them the story of the first time that what I did when I grabbed you.
Oh man, my OG. I was a freshman in college. This was about 2016. I was a freshman, and one day I was in the city on a weekend, home from college, and we had already scheduled. We met up and we just rode around for the day, just giving me game, but also he took me and bought me my very first suit. Got me tailored for it. Bought me some shoes to go with it. And just spoke life into me. To this day, I will forever be grateful for that day.
We got to get past talking. I tell people all the time, this stuff easy to preach, easy to sing, but hard to do. And we at the point that we're more about the elevation of the look and the presentation than putting in the work. Yeah, I said it with the camera. I said it. That we more about the look than the work. And I'm at the point where I'm tired of people just talking. Anika said something to me that hit me. So Anika said something to me, you know what I'm talking about, when you said that if it wasn't for that, you don't know what, as a young, and let me say this, the reason why I wanted a woman on here is because I don't know about y'all, but when I think about mentorship, I usually just think about young men. But we don't think about the young ladies that need mentors as well.
They need it just as much.
That's important.
Yes.
They need it just
because
as
they're the
much.
soil.
Man.
They're the soil. They're the first teachers. They're the beginning.
And
so if that's not good.
I got a guy, a brother who was supposed to be on the show. He couldn't make it. He's a teacher in Baltimore. And he was like, man, it's off the chain. He was like, I'm catching girls in the bathroom having sex. He's telling me, and I'm my mouth on the floor. I'm like, what? So Anika, as a young lady that's in mentorship, from what you're seeing, tell us what you're seeing.
It's the conversation. It's that they're accepting of anything. As I look at it, that you and Lady Vaughn, you guys were a mentor to me. I had the soft side and I had the hard side. You gave me the hard side of what to expect and what you expected of me. And Lady Vaughn, she nurtured that into me. So they're not getting the nurturing on both sides, the men and the young men and the young ladies. They're not told what to do. They're asked. Parents are now asking, like, is this something that you want to do? Oh, they don't want to do that. They don't want to join that program. Back then, when we were younger, it was
You didn't have a choice.
No, you didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
I can take it from when I started at the Foundation of Learning. I had a full ride to go to school. I did not take it. I decided to stay in Memphis. And once you knew that, it was like, no, you have 5 months to get it together and figure it out. So within those 5 months, I had to figure it out. It was hard, but every day, every week, we had to recircle back, like, what is your foundation? What are you going to do? You have to do something. This is not it. So now they don't have this stern foundation. It's very lenient.
One of the first things I told Jeff when we got close, you know what I told him? I said, Jeff, I told him straight up. You remember Jeff? I said, Jeff, I'm not a very liked person. You laughing. You laughing for. Say what?
You're not.
And you know why I'm not a liked person? Because I don't have a problem with telling the truth, and I don't have a problem with holding people accountable.
Right.
I don't have a problem with that. If you don't like, I'm at the point, see, when you know your calling is bigger than being liked.
Right.
And for some of us, we're more concerned about being liked than being called, than being chosen. See, I'm at the point that I'm more concerned about my community than I am about you liking me. Jeff, what's the first thing I told you?
I ain't the most liked person. A lot of people don't like me. But I then told him. I already knew why, because he holds people accountable.
If you tell me this who you are, I expect it. If you tell me, so with Anika, she was working for us, and she told me she wasn't going to school. I said, no, you're not going. No, this is not good enough. You're supposed to be better than me. So you got 5 months to figure this out, but you going to school. Is that not?
Yeah. In January, I started school. I worked from 6 to 6. I went to school throughout. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. The platform was laid out.
Hold up. Jeff, I'll never forget. Jeff called me, OG, I think I'm going to drop out of school. I told him at that moment, I said, look, I love you, but let me go and tell you right now, you don't never have to talk to me again. You don't never have to like me after this moment. But you going to school.
Yep.
I said,
I was in my last semester.
now he gonna wait 4 years.
Wow.
If I get to the last semester,
It gets hard doing this.
man, whatever. Look,
I understand.
if you gonna
It's
drop
hard.
out the first semester.
Those are the easy ones.
Yeah, but you gonna get to your last semester and quit? And I was like, bruh, go ahead.
There's context to that.
Yeah,
I
whatever.
was in the process. I had
he started
started.
making money. He started making money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the bottom line.
Yeah. That's the truth.
You start making money.
start
And
seeing a
so
little dough.
we gotta hold our community. Mr. Harvey, tell us what you're seeing in the school system.
Well, what we see in the school system is really just a reflection of our communities. We're seeing a lot of our young people, they're misguided now. They're misguided, and they don't have a lot of individuals pouring into them positively. And I just remember, I just reflecting on what you're talking about to these two young people, but I remember us as young people and how we were actually mentoring each other. And you were a friend to me at that time who was a pusher. You may not know what I remember. I was working as a teacher, but I was just kind of just doing my thing. And I was working part-time at a toy store because I wanted to buy video games on the side. I want to play the video games. And I remember pastor, he wasn't a pastor then, but I remember he came into the store and we were just talking. He said, man, you bigger than this. He said, you better than this. I'm like, what? I'm trying to get some video games. And so, but when I reflected on it and I went home that night, I said, man, this man just went off on me and everything, but it pushed me. And so from that point on, I went from being a teacher leader, going to school, being an assistant principal, moving out of town to Boston to go through a training program, came back, became a principal. But it all started just from that little small 20-second, 30-second statement. You bigger than this. And but our children need that. They need people to tell them, hey, you got to push, you got to move forward. They need that nudging. And so that's what we're missing right now. You have a lot of kids in these schools, they are phenomenally talented, have a lot of different skills, thinking abilities. They can do things with their hands. But we got to have people who say, what? You better than this.
You know the problem, let me say this in our community. The problem is not that we aiming high and missing, we aiming low and hidden.
Hidden. You got to shoot for the stars. And if you miss those
Donnie
stars,
Simpson.
yeah.
Anybody remember Donnie Simpson, the green eyes, shoot for the moon, so even if you miss the moon, you'll be amongst the stars.
I tell the kids now, shoot for the stars.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, let the stars look up to you. And so that's a big piece. We really got to start pushing our children and nudging them and not letting them sit in a place where they can be comfortable. And I think they have gotten real comfortable because we get a lot of things that we didn't have, our children have. I think about my children. They eating lobster and crab legs every day. You know, we were eating, bean and weenies. And we were happy. We had a little water in our cereal sometimes. But our children, they sitting up every day and they're comfortable. We have to really begin to move them and nudge them so they can be successful and move forward in life. So that's a piece that we're missing.
We're going to close this out in a little bit, but there's some points I want to make. This is my personal, and everybody hear me because I'm getting ready to go somewhere with this. Here's one of the issues I've been asking myself, why are we not grabbing the next generation? I'm going to say this openly. I remember being a young preacher, a young pastor, going to pastors that was bigger than me, asking for help and being told to my face, nah. You know this better. Break down Willie Lynch.
The Willie Lynch. So when you think about the Willie Lynch, there was a piece where they were systematically trying to separate us and divide us. And so they divided us in many different ways, from the color, from our different ethnic backgrounds that we had as far as our tribes, looking at the people who were in the house, who were in the fields. And so as you look at it as an analogy piece now and we're moving forward, there are a lot of different divides. And one of the biggest divides we have now is what you're talking about with the older generation and younger generation, because we don't have those connecting pieces. And so,
and let's break it. So I want to be real clear. Those that don't understand the Willie Lynch syndrome, Willie Lynch, some historians say it was real, some historians say it's
fake.
not. So
it was a system, though.
It's a system. Whether you believe that he is real, the system is real.
Yeah, it was a training piece for the slave owner.
It was a training piece. So Willie Lynch was looked upon as a master slave owner, and he taught the other slave owners how you keep people divided. Keep the light-skinned slave against the dark-skinned slave. Keep the female slave against the male slave. Keep the old slave against the young slave. I want to go here. As an African-American young man, I have dealt with more issues in my own people than I have with the systematic racism in America. Because it's sad to say, we hate on each other. And we hate on each other to the point we'll see the whole ship go down rather than help the young. I've actually heard people tell me this. Well, I struggle, so you need to struggle too. What kind of idiocy?
They'll drill a hole for you in this shit.
Yeah, what kind of, well, I struggle, so you need to. No, the true essence of helping the next generation is Jeff, what I tell you all the time. I just told you this today. You can make mistakes, but don't make the same mistakes I made.
Yeah.
As a young woman, I went to, hey, you should do this better. And what I'm seeing in our community, we don't understand working together.
It's fear too, though.
I'm scared you're going to have more than me.
That's exactly what it is.
And then now you think about, too, with the younger generation, a lot of our older people are really afraid of them. And they can't connect with them. And so
Ice Cube has a
that's
line
big
in the song called Natural Born Killers with Dr. Dre. This is what he said. Terror illustrates my era. Now I can't hang around my mama because I scare her. And that's this generation.
Generation.
They are afraid. Biggie Small says it in Things Done Change. He said our parents used to take care of us. Now they scared of
Yeah,
us.
scared of us.
Yeah.
And let me say this, because there are some people in the audience that are a little older. I know they scared. They scared of, and I want to come to Anika, and we're going to close this section out. I got this thing that I do. Whenever I come to Memphis, I do this. I find me an African American policeman, and I pull him to the side, and I ask him, "Hey man, tell me what's really going on in the city." So I'm in the store the other day, African American police officer at the door. I pull him to the side. I say, "Hey man, tell me what's going on." And I told him, "Hey, I live in Vegas. I'm from Memphis. I'm back. Tell me what's really going on. Is it bad?" He looked at me. He said, "It's worse." But this is what he said to me. He said, "But it's these youngsters, man." He said, "These youngsters are wild." He said, "They are wild." And he said, "Man, it's dangerous out here." And he said, "It's these youngsters." What were you about to say?
Not only that, I think back in the time, it's like now what I run into when I'm looking for mentors to come and mentee, they want to be paid. Versus back then, you know, it was doing it out the kindness of your heart. You do it because that's what you have a passion of doing. But now they may have the passion, but they feel like they should be paid for their passion.
Well, listen, we're going to go to a segment. We've got a segment that's called Out to the Streets. And with Out to the Streets, what we do is we go to the people on the streets and we ask questions. And the questions that we asked today was, are you being mentored? Can you tell us anything about mentorship? Let's go to Out to the Streets. Check this out.
I'm Mark Driver, 24 years old, born and raised in Las Vegas, Nevada. Assistant site manager at Fabulous Freddy's Car Wash. I've been, everybody, I don't have a mentor, I haven't really had the gist of having one. Everybody comes up to me talking about they want to be a mentor. Then they talk about you got to pay for it and all these other things. The things about the bad side about not having one, I had to get it on my own. I've had plenty of hardships that probably could have been avoided if I had somebody to tell me, oh, you got to do this or you got to move like this. Like I've had my car repossessed, I've had phones turned off, just because I haven't really understood the right way manage my stuff, because without a mentor.
Hi, my name is Brittany Stuckey. I am a local social worker out here in Las Vegas, and I was asked to come on and share my thoughts about mentorship. Just wanting to let you guys know I myself have been a mentor. I really see the importance of it. I didn't necessarily have as many mentors as I could have growing up, and made things a lot difficult. A lot of hard lessons, a lot of bumps in the road, but it helped me grow into the person that I am and to be able to have the ability to give back to those who don't have it. So it's very important to lean on your mentors, learn from their experiences, learn from their stories, so it can help you grow to be a better person.
Yeah, I ain't never been mentored. Single mom, 6 sisters, I'm the only man in the house, so I had to step up real quick. Everything in my experience, I had to figure out myself. Had the tools right in front of me. It was time to use my head and put them tools to work.
Hey y'all, I'm Toya from Las Vegas, raised in Texas. So I'm here just to give you a little bit of my perspective on mentorship. I have been personally mentored on and off throughout different cycles and seasons of my life. I will say the one thing that don't sit well with me about mentorship is consistency. Like I said, I've been mentored through different seasons of my life. However, it has not been consistent. There has been no follow-up. So as a Black woman, when it comes to mentorship, I would like to see more consistency. I would love to have a mentor to mentor me in more than just one aspect of my life, more than just a career or finances. How about a relationship mentor or coach, or a health mentor or coach? As a Black woman, at my age, I would love the experience to mentor a younger lady than myself through just trials and errors, things that I've made mistakes on, things that I've learned. I would also say if you don't have a mentor, you should look into getting a mentor. And if you know a young lady in your life, you should think about mentoring them as well.
Well, that was Out to the Streets. That is where we go out on the streets and we ask people, hey, what was your thought on the particular subject that we're dealing with? And today we talked about mentorship. Now, we're gonna go a little different in this direction, and I need y'all to exhale, get your Whitney Houston on. Exhale, yeah. Ooh, I already know. Because it's one thing you talk on the phone about stuff, but we can ready to talk about some stuff in the public that we talk about. With the first group, we just laid a foundation for mentorship. But for this, I wanted to go a different direction. I called some people and I said, hey, let's talk about, and really this gentleman to my left, and I want to do ladies first. This gentleman to my left is the reason why I decided to go to this section. So this is Mr. Michael McKinney. I've been knowing him before I was born. And his father was the pastor of the church I grew up in. And we grew up in church and all of that. What kicked it off, me and Mike was on the phone talking about some stuff, and he said something. I was like, hey, man, could you do this? He made a comment that blew me away. He said, if I had known better, I would have did better. If I would have known some stuff, I would have did this. And can I say what you said, if it's okay? You know, I've been through a divorce. He's been through a divorce, and he said something that hit me. He was like, you think I wanted to go through a divorce? You think I wanted to deal? You think he said I didn't know, and we grew up not knowing. You know what I mean? Exactly. And so this is Mr. Michael McKinney. To my right, this young lady, I grew up with her. She used to live across the street from me. Been knowing her forever. Her name is Miss Yolanda Brooks. I know her as Bird. So if I slip in with Bird and Yolanda, I'm talking about the same person, okay? Same person. And to her right is a gentleman by the name of Terry Turner. The reason why he said FM, he has a history, a career in hip hop sometime. And so you ever talk to somebody and you get to talk to him, be like, yo, this brother's got his head on right. And the more I talked to Terry, I was asking, man, would you mind coming on? Could y'all give him some love, please? Give him some love. Come on, give him some love.
Thank you.
I'm gonna start with Mike real quick. Mike, me and you were talking. And Mike, you said, man, and I'm gonna set the stage. I'm gonna say it. It's a lot of stuff I didn't know. This may offend some people, but it needs to be said. The generation before, in our community, we are taught not to talk about stuff. Mm-hmm. We got secrets in the family we don't talk about. Mm-hmm. We got all kind of hidden stuff we don't talk. Come on, y'all know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, true. Your uncle, the guy you thought was your uncle is really your daddy. The woman you thought was your aunt is really y'all. Come on, man. Come on, stop playing. The person you thought was your aunt is really your mama. The dude lived behind you thought was your neighbor, is your brother. Right. And we keep it all hid. And I'm gonna tell this. I remember as a little kid, there was a commercial on TV for Tampax. I'll never forget this. I went to my mom and I said, "What's a Tampax?" And she went off. Don't ask me what no Tampax is, you know. And my brother was there, and he was like, he asking because he don't know. He trying to get information. I think in the generations before us, it was like you don't talk about stuff. You don't, and even in church, we were taught how to go to church, but we weren't taught how to live. We know how to sing, we know how to preach, but we don't have the emotional capacity to even deal with problems. Talk to me, bro.
Well, just like when I was coming up, even my father was no mentor to me. All my dad would do was he'd go out to preach revivals, but never sit me down and really gave me from point A to Z what a man should be like, this, that, and the other. As a young person, I can remember a lot of stuff when I was a child. My mind can remember that today. Things I saw, I prayed that I wouldn't be like that. Things I went through, I pray I wouldn't be like that. And He was never there, but I had a lot of uncles. My mama's siblings taught me a lot of things, but I still didn't get what I need to know for myself as being a young person growing up. And even when I got to the point where I was able to be married and have a family, I didn't know how to, I always knew how to provide. I was a workaholic regardless. I always knew how to provide. But it's more than just being a provider.
Yo, yo.
I wasn't given that direction where I needed to be a leader. I was in church. God was always, I had this faith, I always believed. There's one thing about it. I always had that. But still, while I'm down here on this earth, but there was that mentor or that person to guide me by my hand or sit me down to give me the birds and the bees.
Yo,
I never had that.
yo.
You know, so I went through a whole lot of stuff, things that I regret that happened to me in marriages, you know. And it's not and when I used to tell people that, I don't say it for enjoyment, because one day God's going to be judging me for the things that I have done. So I do it as a testimony to help somebody to what I went through, maybe to help you along the way. But even though you can continue to hold on to your faith, in spite of you don't have certain things or certain people, you know, even coming through the ministry, you know, and when I used to need help through my own pops, you know, I never got it.
I can say this because his dad, I was around Doc, we call him Doc. He was like my stepdad, just being around him. And you and I talked about it. I was around him, and I never had a conversation with him. Like and that's that old school, how it was done. Yolanda. Yolanda and I were talking about, and is it just me, what I get from the older generation? It's almost, and I say this respectfully to my older generation, they almost feel like correction is an attack. It's almost like, I can love you and say, yeah, but you weren't good at this though. That don't mean I don't love you. I do love you, but there's some things that you didn't give me. And there's this saying, what you don't acknowledge, you won't change. And I think for a lot of times we're so concerned about the cover-up that we're not open and honest with ourselves. We're not open. Jay-Z said something. He said most of us are not emotionally equipped to even deal with, you know what I found out? Most grown people can't even deal with a disagreement. I'm talking about 60 years old, 80 years old, but if there's a disagreement, they don't even have the emotional capacity to how to disagree with you without hating you as they go to church every Sunday.
Yeah.
They the worst ones.
And don't look and talk about, you and I talked about some things as a young lady. What did you experience?
Well, when I was growing up, my life was so bright. I was the pro athlete, the it girl, Miss Popular. And I just wish I had somebody that talked to me and explained to me how great I was.
Wow.
Because I was great.
Wow.
And nobody told me how great I was. And my life would be totally different if somebody had guided me in the right direction.
I'm about to move to tears. I was just talking to God about this yesterday, that in our community too, all the people that's got, greatness in you, let me see your hand, you know it. You know something I found out? It's hard being great in our communities because we hate on it.
Exactly.
We want you to be mediocre. We want you to be low. We want you, how dare you think you can have your own business? How dare you think you better than me? Look. This is all I had. This is all you need. And I've almost had to disconnect from even my own family at times because I don't need to hear what I can't do.
Exactly.
I don't need you to tell me what I can't do. I get enough of that in the world as it is.
Yeah.
If you ain't telling me what I can be, leave me alone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. Because that's what we're so much into holding you down that we don't lift you up. Exactly. And the sad part about it, for a lot of us, we are afraid you're gonna be better than me.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can clap, clap,
Yeah.
clap.
yeah.
And what I don't understand, if you should want me to be Jeff. Jeff is in the I tell him all the time, look, man, you supposed to be better than me.
Exactly.
You supposed to be better than me. And you should tell the generation under you, you should have a bigger house than me. You should have a better car than me. You should have more money than me. I'm sorry, man. I'm just.
Yeah. But you know,
What,
and it's just like it seems like your own cannot receive you.
ooh,
It
man.
seems like you got to go away somewhere
Ugh,
to
Jesus.
be received. You know, it's just like within me in my music ministry. It's just like when I was here, I wasn't received. But when I left here, I was received. So now I've been received and knowing what God is able to do for me. And I don't have that fright, and I can stand boldly and sing for Him.
I live on the West Coast. I've been more accepted in the West Coast than I was in my own family, in my own people, in my own city.
Yeah.
I can go out there and I'm the bomb. I come here and I got and you know something I had to realize about myself. You know what, man, I feel this thing.
Yeah.
The other day, God dealt with me. You know what I realized about myself? I said, man, I'm playing myself down for people who don't want to go nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm playing myself down. And I had to, can I say this? I had to be okay with, look, if you don't like me, cool.
Hey.
I'm good. I'm good. You don't want to be around me, cool. God will bless me with some new friends.
But you have to learn that.
And it takes time because you know something I found out? When you in high school, it's cool to be different. When you're an adult, everybody wants you to conform. When you're in high school, you can have blue hair and it's cool.
Right.
But when you become grown, you should just get a job and be like us. You should be unhappy too. Terry, talk to me.
What's up?
What if as a man and even in the hip hop industry, tell me what you see.
A lot of mentorship is needed. Like right now, the rappers that are coming up, they need mentorship.
It's just that plain and simple.
Yeah. They lack guidance.
When it concerns hip hop, something I figured out too, we saw, everybody hear me when I say this, we saw teachers and stuff. This generation, all they know is gangster.
Right.
That's all they know is ratchetness and gangsterism and everything. But as a man, tell us, in not being mentored, how it may have affected you, brother.
Well, not being mentored will cause pain, money, time. There are a lot of elements, a lot of negativity follows that, not having mentorship.
Right.
Yeah. But you know, if you're unfortunate and don't have, well, mentorship is, you can get mentorship from a lot of different places, not just from a mentor. You know, that's how I got it that way. I wouldn't be afraid to ask questions from people that were in the industry. I would read their books. You can get mentorship through books and also experience.
You know what just hit me? Something you said, like you said, mentor. You know who talked to me though? The drug dealers they talked to me.
Right.
Now, the people that could have told me better, I didn't get information from them.
Right.
But the dudes on the street, and it's sort of sad, like you said about the greatness, the dudes on the street saw the greatness in me.
Right.
And they pulled me in and said, hey, man, come kick it with us. Now, I didn't get it from the people I wanted it from, though, Mike.
Right.
And as you said, we didn't get it.
We didn't get it.
And how does that affect you again in what your life is?
I didn't get it, but you know, I'm gonna go back a little bit what you just stated. I was in a motorcycle club in Dallas called Second and None. His brothers all the way from the West Coast all the way across to Atlanta. I got so much respect for them. A lot of them were gangs, and a lot of them was engineers. A lot of them was all kind of businessmen. But I got so much from them to sit down and listen and talking to them. And even in the streets, riding across country in California and up at Compton and all them places, sitting down on the side of the street, sitting on the motorcycle, listen to them. I gained so much from them, even than the person in the church house. So much. So much. And people ask me, "You're a minister, why you running on?" That ain't, Jesus went everywhere.
That's right.
So I'm going everywhere.
Let me ask you, why is that the case in your opinion? I have my opinion, but why is that? Why is it that I can go to church and get nothing and then go to the hood and get mentored?
I don't know.
You know,
There's a lot of jealousy. A lot of jealousy in our own people.
you know my opinion of it, you know what I think? I think in church, my pastor said this and I'll never forget it. We've been trained to be phony.
Oh, yes.
We've been trained to be phony. We come and we pretend like we got it together.
Yep.
When you need help, like help need help. And and it's sad to say, but we're more concerned about the look and the appearance. Like there's this rapper called Jack Harlow. I think Jack Harlow, and he's got a line where he said, "Y'all just want to look like y'all got money." So a lot of us, we're more concerned about looking the part than living the part. And we're more concerned about the appearance than ooh, Jesus, do I go there?
Might as well.
I used to go to church, be honest. I used to go to church as a little kid. And let me say this. Stop thinking these little children don't see and don't know.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
They know.
Oh, yes.
Because as a little child, I knew.
Yeah.
And you know what? I knew I was called to be a preacher as a kid before everybody else. But I was like, man, I don't want this. This ain't, no. Because I saw it. And I was like, this phony to me. Even as a little kid, I was like, this phony. Because as a little kid, they just let you in the room, but they don't know. You paying attention to you talking about people, I hear it all. And so even as a little kid, I was like, I don't want this. It's not real to me.
Exactly.
And really, it turned me away from God because as a child, you don't have the intellect to separate the two. And I think what we do, we're more concerned about the look, the appearance. That's why I wanted to do the podcast, because there's some things I can't talk about from the pulpit, but I wanted to be able to say, man, first of all, we got to stop being fake. We got to stop being fake. We got to stop being phony. And it's okay. And here's the catch. Jeff is in here. Jeff will tell you this. When I started mentoring Jeff, the first thing I did, and he'll tell you, I started showing him my scars. Man, it's about to move me to tears. I was like, you don't know I've been through this, but this is what I've been through. But as a pastor, you would never see it.
Right.
Because I got to keep it up. But here go the real me. Here go the divorce that you don't know about. Here go the bankruptcy that you don't know about. And I want you to know that I'm a real person. And if it wasn't, I don't know about y'all, but if it wasn't for Jesus, man, I would have cracked a long time ago.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Right.
A long time ago.
Yes, sir.
And for me, the biggest hurt is that you go to the people that you hoping will help you, and you get more hurt. Because you go to those people and you want to say to them, look, I just want to I want to let it all down. I'm tired. I just want to look, man, I ain't trying to pretend. I ain't trying to say, I'm saying, look, I'm messed up right here. And what makes church scary is that people take the stuff you try to reveal to them and use it against you. So you feel like, and then it makes you, when you go to church, I got to be on my guard even up in here. The very place that I should be able to be comfortable, man, I ain't trusting y'all. Man, because if I do tell you to pray for me, it's going to be on Facebook tomorrow. Y'all, man, I'm sorry. Y'all, did I go there? My bad. I'm sorry. My bad. And I got tired of it. There's a gentleman that's in here today. His name is Dr. Lee Adams. Man, as a mentor, I was able to just go to him, and I would tell him at times, man, I'm just tired. As an African-American man trying to come up in America, this is what I say. I got my own people with the crab in the barrel, and then I got the other races that own the lid, that don't keep the lid on the barrel. So I got my own people pulling me down in the barrel, and I got the other people keeping the lid on the barrel.
Yeah.
I'm darned if I do. I'm darned if I don't.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I need to hear Bird as a woman, as a woman, as a woman, and just as a woman. What did you experience? And we're gonna get ready to get out of here, but as a woman, the things like you said, when you the it girl and you being taught your looks are the thing and your body is the thing, and you don't know. As a woman, how do you approach that?
Well, as a child, it's really impossible because you don't know and you don't have any examples. Like when you was talking about church. When I was a kid in church, I used to hear the grown-ups talk about the hookers and the poor people. When they came to church, the older people would laugh at them. And as a kid, hearing that, it made me feel some kind of way. And to this day, I do not attend church because of that, because it left a bad taste in my mouth. Because to me, you're a hypocrite. You talk about everybody, but then you want to talk about God. That don't match up. And it just made me feel some kind of way.
There's a saying, people say, well, it's more hypocrites in yeah, but you got to understand we being watched. That's no excuse. We just got to understand. That don't mean we perfect. We just got to understand we being watched.
And you have to be careful.
You got to be careful who's paying attention to you.
Exactly. Because I'm 51, and to this day, I still don't go to church. And this happened to me as a kid. 11, 12, 13, 14. And then the pastors, I don't even want to talk about the pastors. That's something totally different. But as a woman, as a young woman in a church, it's very offensive when you see older men try to hit on you in church. I can remember the pastor shaking my hand and rubbing my hand as a 14-year-old girl.
Was the trip hard? We got some audience members that I can tell it didn't happen to them. And because I'm looking around and I'm seeing some women like, ooh, yeah. Ooh. And let me say this, because I want to be clear. This is not for me about church bashing. Let me be clear.
No, I'm not
No,
bashing.
because this is a point I want to make. This is not about, because I am the church. What I'm saying, though, we must be real and honest.
Right.
And to get back to what I said earlier, I can say to my loved one, yeah, I love you, but you just didn't, over here, you was a little short. And there's nothing wrong with that.
But when you know better, you do better.
When you know better, you do better. Yeah. As we get ready to close, I'm going to give all you a final statement. Just tell me your heart about what we're talking about today. And for us, what I wanted to talk about is what we didn't get, how it affected you, and how it affected us as we get ready to close. Mike, I'm going to give you the mic.
Right now, I'm at age 65.
You 65?
Look good, too, though.
Yeah. I ain't lying. I'm like, bro, I wouldn't have never gave you that.
Yes, sir. And
just berries and juices, brother.
all that.
Yeah, bro.
But, I've gone through a lot, but, even when I was coming up, when I was in the military, I used to hold a lot of stuff in. And I hold it in, and the only person that got me out of there is my sister. My sister sitting over here in the audience, retired lieutenant colonel at the Air Force. She said, let it go. I let it go. When I let go, I let God have me. Right. I didn't worry about nobody else. I didn't care what nobody else said about me. Nobody else mattered to me. And but the only thing that mattered to me is the man upstairs. That's all that mattered to me. I'm going to say what I want to say. I'm going to be the same thing in church or out of church. I'm not going to be different.
There you go.
I'm going to be real. And so since that day, I walk in faith. I walk in belief and trust in him. I've gone through so much. I got all these scars from motorcycle accidents, could have been dead and gone, but God's got me still here. In a car accident not too long ago, hit us 70 miles an hour, car sitting in the middle of I-20 in Dallas, Texas. Nobody sitting in the car. I'm still here. It's 2019-21.
Y'all better give God a clap of hands.
I'm still here. So my trust is in God. It ain't about man, nobody else. As long as you got that trust in him and nobody else, you ain't got nothing to worry about. Nobody. That's it.
Brother Terry, tell me when you're closing, man.
Well, mentorship is important, but like I say, you don't necessarily have to have it. There are other ways to make it without mentorship. Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's sort of hard for me to express mentorship or things about mentorship, because it's like, you know, that I love to give. You know, coming up in the rap community, I was like one of the first rappers out of Memphis. And you know, I was a couple years older than a lot of the rappers were at the time. And, you know, they didn't have guidance, and I tried to open up and show them the way, as a matter of speaking. So I'm open to they may not have appreciated, and that's another thing, appreciate your mentor. If you do have someone that's taking their time to show you the way, appreciate that. Don't take it lightly. Appreciate it and show your appreciation if you can, because that affected me. It made me not want to help other people because the people I tried to help didn't appreciate it. So that's why I say that.
What I hear you saying too, also, because there's some people out here that don't get it. Just because you don't get it, don't mean you're not gonna make it.
Right.
Right.
That's what I hear, and I want to be clear about that, because there's some of us, we didn't get it, but we still here.
Right.
We still, and I want to be, and I hear you clearly.
And sometimes you get mentorship and you don't recognize it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like with my life. Well, with life, things aren't as they appear. So, like, I think I was talking to you. No, I was talking to Kevin. You could be telling someone the truth about some situations, and they may not hear it at the time. They may not have the level of thinking to understand what you're saying, but it's the truth, and it can lift you up out of your situation. But like I say, you don't have the capacity to understand what you're being told. So,
Appreciate you, brother.
yeah.
Miss Yolanda, what's your final statement with this?
Well, the way I live my life now, I try to mentor all of the young girls around me. I try to build them up and tell them that they are special and they are somebody, and you matter. Learn to express yourself. Be honest with yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, I love you. I appreciate you. You are somebody.
I like you.
And you have to say that in this social media world, because when you're on the computer, you're always comparing yourself to other people. And you have to learn to stop doing that and love what you see every day.
Right.
Y'all give them a round of applause real quick. Give them a round of applause. As we get ready to get out of here. Listen, as we get ready to get out of here, I want to close statement and I want to say something. So I want to say something to two people as we get ready to go. Number one, to the person that needs somebody in your life. All of us need somebody. This is not a religious show, and let me be clear. I just live my life by a different set of rules. And religion is just a systematic way of doing something. I'm not a religious person. I'm a person that lives his life by a different set of standards. There's a scripture in the Bible that says there's safety in a multitude of counsel. What that means is having people in your life to help guide you, to help lead you. To those people that need somebody, find somebody in your life that has been where you're trying to go. Go get one. And here's something I learned in business, and I had a businessman to teach me this. Take somebody out to lunch. Treat somebody, say, hey, man, can I take you out to lunch? There are so many opportunities out here, and if you need some help, go find you some help. And trust me, you may have to go through one or two or three people, but keep going till you find what you need. That's the first person I want to talk to. The second person I want to talk to as we close, that's the person who can give help, but you're not giving help. We need you. The community needs you. Society needs you. God has blessed you to make it through your situations. Don't just sit at home and just sit on what you've been through and not help somebody.
That's right.
To those people that you have children, I know the mindset, well, I help my own children. Yeah, but what about the young man who doesn't have a dad? What about the young lady who doesn't have a mother? She needs you too. And we need you to get out and help somebody. Because here's the thing. We will not get out the cage if we don't acknowledge that we might possibly be in one. God bless you. We'll see you next time.